Door, in memory of Olivia Gilliam. How the sun lights the fuses of the sky rockets arranged around this alpine meadow, a battery of charges set and timed and steaming in the noonday heat, bright streamers and airbursts landing on dry slopes, then down these drainages, a world of flare and fade, scarlet explosions muffled in a swirl of sage and lupins, the spent cartridges scattered among divisions of pine seedlings, reserves of purple asters, and a team of mule's ears rounded up by wind and rain, all aiming at the mountains, moose and deer, at hummingbirds, nocturnal moths, and the marsh, where the sandhill crane calls and calls, her song the sound of someone opening a door.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Wells, and I'm reading a couple of poems from my next collection, Debris, for the Princeton Festival. Debris will be published next March by Four-Way Books. Fandango. The dancer in her first or final dance steps in and out of the disco lights. No heart, the bullet craves her heart. No blood, the bullet craves her blood. Idle air, her mind in flight, what guides her feet. Desire is a tight, shrunken map where lovers carve their common dance. The next poem is Your Hat. Your hat is shouting at me. Its sequins are flashing like caution lights. Its cone is a megaphone. Please ask it to be quiet. It is distracting me from what I was feeling. Your Angora sweater, a shade of cantaloupe, is bursting into flames. It blazes through my overcoat and singes my fingertips. Please douse. My hand is so gnarled that soon I won't be able to hold my morning cup of coffee. The sun advises me to be steady. I was silent steadily until your hat approached me. Can you hear me? It keeps asking. I love answering your question, but I hate myself for listening. Please don't interrupt me while I linger for every word you say. Thank you.
The new elements. Elements can be named after a scientist, a mineral, a place or a country, a property, or a mythological concept. The 4 new elements, all of which are synthetic, were discovered by slamming lighter nuclei into each other and tracking the resulting decay of the radioactive superheavies. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of making things out of other things. I came out to this bar to read the news in the company of people falling in love for only the 2nd or 3rd time. Like other superheavies that populate the end of the periodic table, the new ones exist for only fractions of a second before dissolving into more familiar atomic particles. Is it true that I'm here hoping a stranger might take me home? Of course it is.
Hi, from my study in Houston, Texas. This is Kevin Prufer, and I'm going to read you a poem called Poem for My Mother at Her Age from my 3rd book, Fallen from a Chariot. Poem for my mother at her age. Stars are one thing we never run out of. The way they fill the black air with a million little breaths. Look at them, you said from the lawn furniture, meaning the hands that smeared the stars above the house. And just as suddenly, the memory of a pulp of lightning bugs that set my arms and face to glittering. It was a long time ago that night came down like a colander over the neighborhood, and you turned the house lights on to keep the dark away.
皆さんこんにちは。柏木まりと申します。今日は私の童謡詩リボンを読みます。小さな女の子の恋心を歌った詩です。リボン、リボン。私の髪にリボン、靴にリボン、エプロンにリボン。好きな人ができたの。リボン。 私は春にリボン、空にリボン、銀の雨にリボン。好きな人ができたの。リボン、私に光るリボン、赤いリボン、くれたのは誰？好きな人ができたの。優しい人なの。
Scent dragonfly. Mother called it scent dragonfly. We never learned its real name. It was so thin, so discreet that we considered its appearance more a visit than an intrusion, poetry than prose. It wouldn't stay long. The resting place I made with sunset hued origami held little to no charm. In those days, Mother was home and her presence permeated everything. She'd promised the dragonfly would return, bring its friend perhaps, stay longer next time. I was kneeling to water flowers when I noticed a floating pair just above my head, each body a vivid dash in the air. Who knows what a miracle is? A scent, interested in attracting no one, still returns at the heat of noon, like a blue cord held by flickering wings, a narrow opening into another sky.
Bernal Hill. Something has to give. We stand above it all. Below the buildings, tall but tiny narrative. The water's always near, you say, and so are you for now. It has to do. There's little left to fear. A wind so cold, one might forget that winter's gone. The city lights are on for us, to us, tonight.
Hello, Princeton Festival. Let me introduce Shuntaro Tanikawa from Tokyo.
あの人を愛しただけで僕の一生は終わってしまうだろう。その後死んだ僕はあの人との思い出に生き続ける。あの人の上に広がる青空は僕だけのものだった。あの人の方を照らした太陽も僕は誰にも渡さない。雪に覆われた山脈の向こうにあの人の住む村があって、そこであの人は子供を産み、孫たちに囲まれるだろう。幸せは幻のように儚く、化石のようにいつまでも地下にある。僕にはもう見えているのだ。あの人の静かな瞳が。
人々。あなたの声を聞かせてください。私の声を聞いてください。あなたの好きな窓を描いてください。私の好きな色に塗らせてください。あなたの湖をちょっと貸してください。私の山に登ってもいいよ。あなたの鎖骨を見せてください。私のと片っぽ交換しましょう。あなたの運命線を見せてください。私の生命線を少し上げます。あなたの物語に触らせてください。私の歴史を抱きしめてください。あなたの傷を見せてください。私の傷跡も見てください。あなたの泣き顔を見せてください。私も泣くからそばにいてほしい。あなたが生まれた町の地図を描いてください。いつか一緒に行けたらいいね。あなたの影を見せてください。私の影と並べてみましょう。きっと二つはとてもよく似ている。あなたの名前を教えてください。私の名前も尋ねてください。私の名前は平田敏子です。ありがとうございました。
I'm Wayne Miller, and this is a non-rhyming villanelle from my third book, The City, Our City. The child's cry is a light that comes on in the house when the street is empty and the trees are still. The light in the window gives voice to the cry, so when the windows are closed, we still know her voice is pushing against the walls of her room. Her cry, a light that comes on in the house, quivering the filaments in the bulbs, lifting her parents out of their beds in the dark. At times, a neighbor's light will echo the cry. Her voice, arriving from what seems to be nowhere, from inside such a tiny body, it comes on and on, that cry somehow filling the whole house when her parents are sleeping, when the world is sleeping. Like a lighthouse beam, it swings around and out of her body, flooding the window, a cry emerging from inside, a dream, a need, or fear she can't yet utter. All there is her breath, pushing the cry, the light coming on in the house, and her voice, a light planted deep in the cry.
沿着橙皮克伦驶离的方向，海水像永久的棉被，沉沉地压在缺觉者身上。天空在散开的鱼群眼睛里越来越亮。那座跨过盐水的桥，也跨过中年人大脑里的黑暗，路途的黑暗，在两个精确的词之间。独身的母亲悲哀时，只给远行的儿子写信。孤独的水鸟沿着灯火，向更冷的地狱飞翔。这个夜晚，旅馆房间的调温器不停止地轰鸣号码634。当我拿出钥匙，黑暗中一些最优秀的人正在我的祖国消失。
カイロ。赤ん坊が初めて笑った。光線すらをねじ曲げる大きな力がみなぎりあふれている夜空の下で、その一瞬、肉眼にはたどれない微細な回路がつながったのだ。The circuit, the baby's first smile. Under the nightly sky, saturated with some gigantic force that could twist and bend even the light beams. A minute circuit which is unrecognizable to the naked eyes is connected in that moment.